There we go. Okay, so it wants us to start out by going over a list of the positive results of the pilot program. Can you guys think of some positives of the program?
Encourage people for career development, and I think a couple people got promotion.
I think it also people became more motivated, and the morale was better.
That's one thing that stuck out to me too. And they said that employees felt more loyal to the bank, felt more like they belonged.
Yeah, the retention was better. There are people who were looking outside the bank, but after this program, found that they could actually do what they want still at the bank.
And another thing that stuck out to me too was like a lot of people were willing to learn and grow from this experience. The education, additional education, I think really helped too.
Yeah, I guess to add on that, I thought it was really cool how the leadership, I think it was one of the managers, something like that, because of their, either the mentee or the mentor decided to go back to school. They also decided to go back to school, and then a lot of her other, what you want to call like a direct reports, decided to go back to school. It was just they all decided to do it because of that example.
It also said, because I'm still trying to finish reading it, sorry guys, but it also said that one of the mentees said that it was like a monthly reminder of how they needed to improve themselves and develop professionally. So kind of kept them motivated in their job.
Okay, look, we're all here.
So Molly and Aaron, I saw that you guys just joined. Do you guys, we just were quickly talking about the list of positive results from the pilot program.
Yeah, you guys kind of hit what my pros were about the pilot program is about learning and the mentors / mentees going back to school. I've had experience with that where people have gone back to school to for positions that they wanted, but they needed a specific class to get that position, so they would go back to school just to get ahead in their own company.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, Aaron. I think also from going off of that from the reading, it mentioned those who had the least accessibility to mentors or mentoring. They focused on them, and I guess in the eternal scheme of things, we want everyone to, all the employees to be invested in to improve their quality of work. So that's one of the benefits of mentoring.
One of the jobs I had, we used to do these surveys every once in a while, like every 3 or 6 months or something, and they would ask if you had a friend at work. And I think just having somebody at work that you feel connected to makes you feel like you are important and you want to be there. So I think in some ways the mentoring program kind of did that for some of the employees. It made them feel more invested in the company and like they had somebody that they trusted that they could talk to.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too. And one thing too that impressed me was their matching process, that they were able through a couple different things to find somebody that had similar goals and wanted to get the same thing out of it. And they did a really good job of matching people.
That's true.
There was even quite a few employees that specifically said they felt like the company actually valued them just by having this program. They felt like they're actually not just a means to an end and a person, but they actually wanted them to develop their career and stay in the bank.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too. Okay, is there any other positives you guys can think of?
Nope.
Okay, so two other ones that are mentioned in the discussion thing too is the fact that it was voluntary nature of the program. There were a ton of people too that wanted to volunteer for it too, which I thought was cool.
And that's true.
And then the last one is, I want to call her Amy, but I don't think that's her name. Rubenstein, what's her first name?
Oh yeah.
The HR lady. Let me look.
Amy.
It is Amy? Okay. Well, so the last positive that's mentioned too, and this is one thing that stuck out to me a lot too, was her personal involvement, how much effort she put into this program and how she filled in multiple different spots and really made the program run really well for everyone.
Oh yeah, she definitely was one of the main reasons it was so successful, just because not only when you launch it, you also follow up with people, make sure that they're still actually motivated and doing stuff through the program and not just launch it and then expect that it'll go fine without you.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's just to have that one person that fully understood what was going on with everyone, really just kept everybody on the same page.
Jimmy. Yep, that is true.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump on to the next part. How do you guys think mentoring helps employees with career development?
I think
I would
it
have
helps.
to. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, because sometimes there's a lot of like positions you may not even know about, and just having a mentor maybe in another area of yours that you can branch out and learn something new from. Kind of, that's the way it helps, I guess.
And also, it helps if you have a mentor in your same department. They can show you how everything works, and they can be more of a hands-on on the job training for you to better yourself in your job. And like it was mentioned before, a mentor helps people stay in their job because they like their job better, because they have somebody that they can relate to and work with.
It's interesting because it said that a lot of the mentors actually mentioned that they really liked being a mentor, that it actually gave them more purpose and meaning in their job as well.
Sounds like a win-win.
It does.
So, to go along with that, what other approaches or programs do you think or have you seen that might help employees to develop their careers?
Job shadow.
That's a good one.
I also think it was kind of mentioned in this too, like groups. It seemed like everyone had a purpose in some sort of team building in some way from different departments to get things accomplished. So I always think being a part of a group might always help too.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't they call those the circles or something?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe I'll turn to that real quick. Or wherever it is. Circle mentoring. They mentioned like 2 other kinds that they had, but it was like, a circle would be a group of 6 to 10 people with a common topic of interest who would be together with 1 or 2 mentors. So, it's like, oh, I'm really interested in this, and we'll kind of sit in a little circle, I guess, and learn from someone more experienced. And of course, everyone's there for the same reason. So I think that would be beneficial.
Another thing that could help like bring awareness, because I know PayPal did this where it was almost like career day type thing where you'd go downstairs and a person or a couple people from each department would sit down at a table, and then you could go around and ask questions about, oh, what does fraud do? What does debit card do? What does sales do? And just kind of figure out all the different departments just to see. There's a lot that you wouldn't even know that there was that department in the, just because like PayPal and like probably the bank, there's probably so many departments and things you didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
The other nice thing about it is it gives you a network of people that you might not have known before in other departments, or people that if an opening comes up, they might recommend you or do something for the job just because they know you where they may not have known you before.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a good point. So then the last part of this section too, and a few of you actually have already mentioned, but have any of you had an experience with mentoring, whether that's formal, informal, or you were a mentor or mentee, and what were some of the benefits, the obstacles, and the downsides? Does anyone else have, a few of you already shared, but does anyone else have any experiences?
I actually do. When I worked at 1-800-Flowers.com, I had worked there long enough to where they allowed me to be a floor supervisor, and just to be there to help people who are just getting on the phones, learn how to take phone calls, was very rewarding to know that you were helping people out. The downside is you knew certain people in your area knew that you were there, and they just really didn't want to learn. And every time they thought a call was going to get escalated, they would say, "Let me get a supervisor, and here you go," and then hand over the call to you. That's the only downside, is when people think that they're there. Sometimes you have that one in a few that say, "Hey, since somebody's there to do the work for me, I really don't have to do anything." Their motivation is not as high.
So I think I have kind of an experience too. I don't know necessarily if it's a negative one. I guess I would have been more of the mentee. I was going to just be a part-time person at this land surveying company, and I've stayed longer than that. And they brought in an HR, an accounts receivable person who was quite a bit older than I was. And just how much she'd taught me in like 6 months of being there, because she'd been from a different company, worked more for a corporate world, and the company we work for is more of like a family-owned business kind of thing. And it was kind of cool to see a different side of the world, and I think it helped me gain a lot of experience on how to, deal with accounts receivable, or even how to answer phone calls, and to see if you, answer phones a certain way, or how you talk to people can you get different reactions from them. So that's, I guess, a positive that I've had from being a mentee. That. All right, well, we will just move on then. The next question is, would a less formal mentoring program be even better where mentees are free to find whatever mentors they need to help them progress in their careers rather than being assigned to someone? What do you guys think?
I kind of missed the question. Can you say it one more time?
Yeah, would a less formal mentoring program be even better where mentees are free to find whatever mentors they need to help them progress in their careers rather than being assigned to someone?
I think it depends. I think if they match you, I guess do a match based on certain things, certain criteria, then maybe it could be a good one. Other than I don't know, sometimes random could be a good thing. Or I could see the pros and cons of both.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way they did it, probably one of the reasons it was so successful is because they were able to easily align like what they're both looking to do, and it's hard because I think if you leave it to chance, you may choose someone who you like get along well with personality wise, but like it's just they don't have what you're looking for, and so I personally think it wouldn't have been as successful, or at least as higher chance it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. The way that they did it was just so successful, and since they'd done all these different, tests to find out who was looking for what, I think that's why it was so successful.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, if you pick yourself, you might just pick a friend or somebody that you already know, and that might not be as helpful as getting outside of your comfort zone and getting with somebody who may have something that where you actually learn something, or they have something to offer you.
That's a good point.
That's very true. Okay, so then since we've talked about how successful that program was, what do you guys think they could have done to improve the Federal Reserve Bank program?
Good question. Do more surveys to ask how they can improve it.
I think they could have incorporated like a job shadow as part of it, because like a mentor is pretty, I don't know, like more in depth, whereas a shadow is you can actually follow that person and ask them their day-to-day or watch their day-to-day activities and see if that's something that you like. I don't know, maybe that is part of the mentoring program, but if it's not, I would think that would help it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think that is a good idea.
Yep.
That's a good question. I'm keep thinking about it. Maybe do you think the time commitment should be altered at all, or?
It wasn't very much time, was it? Wasn't it like 4 hours a month or something?
Yeah, I think participants, at least somewhere that I read in the readings, that they wanted more time, but that wasn't, I guess, based on the surveys, they didn't. The majority said, oh, it was the, see if I can find it. Like one of the questions was the number of group educational sessions offered throughout the year sufficient? It was either too few, just right, or too many. And out of 20, 17 said it was just right, and 3 said it was too few. So I don't know, maybe you could add like one more session in there, and maybe that'll make a difference.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and I might not have been reading this correctly, but I didn't. So there was a supervisor and a mentor, correct? Was it for each person, or did they share supervisors?
Mm,
I don't remember reading that.
I guess it depends if you came from the same team. It could be the change. They share the same supervisor, but they only have one mentor, unless they're part of a circle group. Circle mentor.
Okay. Well, that's what I thought. I just know that there was a few times that I think Amy had to step in because the supervisor was like not letting the
Oh yeah,
mentor talk to the mentee or whatever, or the mentee talk to the mentor.
Oh, right.
So maybe
Yeah.
that's something that could have been improved.
was where you didn't have, so like the supervisors were angry, thinking like this is a waste of time. These people are doing stuff that's not their job, and they didn't really have full buy-in. So that would be something that would improve, as long as you need to have full buy-in from all the supervisors. And otherwise, if you get people like some supervisors that are going to fight against the program, then there's not much that your mentees can do, since the supervisor is the one in charge.
Mm. All right. Well, so I think we came up with some good things that we could do to improve it. But I already feel like it was. I mean, like a lot of you mentioned, it was already a pretty good program. Let's do the wrap up real quick. Just a few more questions. Why do you think less people signed up the second round?
You know, I was actually interested in why less people signed up for the second round if the first round was so successful. My guess for less people signing up for the second round would be maybe the word didn't get out. Like maybe just from the survey results, the first program went really well, but then they didn't. I guess they failed to kind of really show those positive results from the first one and kind of market it or something.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head as far as not market it. I think they had more success when they actually had testimonials from the people who did go through the program, that helped increase it. But without that, probably a lot of people are wondering if it actually was worth it.
Yeah, I think the testimonials was a huge bonus. I think they really just need to market it better.
Yeah, I agree. So then, with that being said, so other than doing more marketing, what else do you think the company could have done to get more applicants?
I think testimonials and success stories early on would have been huge if I was on the fence about it, but saw some testimonials or success stories of people who found different positions, or their good experience with it. I would then do it.
Yeah, I
Maybe
agree.
have some incentives or something for the mentors so that they have a reason for wanting to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you think maybe some of the reason too that they didn't have as much success was that they had to turn down so many people the year before?
That's a good point.
Could be.
And that is a possibility.
So do you think they should keep, what was it, 25 and 25? Do you think they should expand it, or should they keep it at 25 and 25?
Well, if you have a lot of interest in it, you should at least consider expanding it.
Yeah, I think they had valid concerns where they didn't want it to get too big and out of control in the beginning, but I mean, once you run a successful round and you know what you're doing, you should be able to expand it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so then how do you think that they, for this next year, they don't have as much people, how can they encourage people who really need mentoring to get mentored? And at the same time, how do you think they can get enough people to mentor? I think, like Molly said, incentives. I think that would be a really big one.
Yeah.
Can you guys think of any ways that they can find, how they can encourage people to get mentoring?
I would say before at least pick a specific time during the year and see, just kind of do a company survey on asking questions on if we provided more mentors who would be more interested in, kind of gauge the pool there, and then you'd be able to get the specific numbers you needed to say if it'd be advantageous to expand or to keep it the same.
I think a big portion of that too, like, would be on the supervisors. If the supervisors truly believe the program is a good program, they really the ones to motivate those that need mentoring, saying, you know, hey, have you looked at other positions or because good manager asks that. I think, you know, it really encourages the direct report to actually seek career development.
I think those were all some really great points. Does anyone else have anything to add about what else you think they could do to make it better this year?
I don't. I can't think of anything else.
All right. Well, does anyone else have anything to add about this case?
We're good.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for meeting. I'll just stop the broadcast. That was quick. But I feel like it was a pretty straightforward case.